Okay, I'm. This one. This one would probably easily be the longest, out of anything I would ever put on this channel, if I knew how to describe most of it. Very, very simply put, it's like, okay, well, first of all, with the way I was raised Christian. I feel like that's overwhelmingly obvious. I feel like I've said that before, probably. My family is all Christian. Everyone can interpret the scripture differently with the same, overall perception. That's kind of like a very big factor of Christianity. And with the way that I understood it, no one else in my family understood it this way. I know a good amount of people not in my family understood it this way, but just to preface it with just to preface this whole story with this, not being straight was, from how I read it, no different than eating bacon. They were both just a sign of Jewish purity. And being trans was no different than just... Well, what's a good example? I broke my arm in kindergarten. Fixing my broken arm was no different than being trans. Both were, a choice to change my body in a way to make it, better. To make it more fitting for me to live. To make it more comfortable to be in. Both are, just prefacing it with this, gender and sexuality had nothing to do with it. Because with the way that I understood everything, that stuff was fine, I've talked about one of my friends in the past who doesn't interpret it that way. But with how I read it, that's how I understood it. So, just to preface with this, that had nothing to do with it. What did have to do with it was I have always been someone who, whenever someone says something, I go way out of my way to research the topic and make sure I understand everything there is to know about the topic. And a lot of very undeniable facts that I learned while doing research when people would tell me things, very, very directly contradicted my faith. And, that never really registered with me for the longest of times. I realized I was trans when I was 13. The first time it really registered when I was 15, just to put that into perspective. Nothing really registered with me. Whenever I was 15 and it registered, I was like, that's weird. I'm probably just misunderstanding some little part either over here or over there, but obviously nothing major because I understood everything. Yeah. Around the time that I turned... I want to say around the time I turned 16, maybe a few months after, I really, I kind of, started realizing there's way too many contradictions here. So I started, of course, doing what I have always done, and I started looking things up and trying to figure things out and figuring out, okay, what's the deal here? What's wrong? And it kind of very quickly dawned on me that there was too much direct evidence on this planet that is very extremely way too undeniable that basically just completely shatters any form of my faith being real. And I was in denial, obviously, as most people are. So I kept on looking, and eventually I just stopped, and I thought about it for a while. And I remember laying in bed and thinking, like, just I don't even know what's real or fake on this planet anymore. Like, I don't even know what I've thought my whole life is true and what's not. I don't know if any basic facts I know are true or not. And, you know, I basically had thoughts like that until I fell asleep that night. And for a good few months, like 3 or 4 months afterwards, I, would every now and then just go looking into more things, like, hopefully there's some explanation, right? Like, there's no way that, like, everything that I've thought in my life is a lie, right? And of course nothing ever came of that. And I was in a lot of denial for a very, very long time. A very long time. I was in a lot of denial. Until I turned... Not until I turned 17. It was really like about a month before me and my ex-boyfriend broke up that I talked about in the past. That I eventually just had to accept. I cannot simply believe in any of this anymore with how much direct contradiction there is that is blatantly true, and there's no real way to get around it. And you know, that was really hard to admit to myself. When I said I was in denial for forever, like that, like, I knew that, but, like, I was very aware that that was the case, but I didn't admit it to myself until then. And you know, it's just, it was weird. It was a weird time in my life to be alive. Whenever I did finally admit that to myself, because then at that point it was like, what random arbitrary rules have I been following that I don't need to? What random arbitrary things have I been doing that I haven't needed to be doing? What random things have I been worrying about that I don't have to worry about? You know, just all that sort of stuff. And, yeah, it was a very strange time in my life. And, of course, about a month later, that's whenever me and my boyfriend broke up. And then that whole situation with him being an absolute maniac happened, and I was thinking, like, in my mind, like, is this my punishment? Like, is this what I get for denying the Lord? Like, is this what happens because of the fact that I denied him? Like, yeah, it was really, really strange, to say the least. It had me thinking a lot more than most other things. For the record, he wasn't a Christian, in case you're thinking, like, well, maybe the reason that he went maniacal, isn't because, who knows, and he's just an insane person, but because, like, that was his, breaking point to finally be outward about how he felt whenever you told him that. Like, he wasn't a Christian, that wouldn't be it. Yeah. Yeah, no, I was thinking a lot, like, is this my punishment? Is this what I get? Does this mean that I have to turn back and apologize for everything I've been thinking for the past, like, year? But as time went on, of course, I stopped thinking that. I stopped thinking that, a good amount. Yeah. And now it's, about 10 months, 11 months-ish, 9 months. I don't really know. I can't count. Either way, it's a good amount of months after that happened. And it's still weird. I still feel weird not praying, not thinking of, like, all the people in my life that I've lost are in heaven, thinking there's someone there for me at all points in time, even when I think I'm alone. Yeah, it's weird. It's really strange. It's very, very strange. To say the least. My neighbor's dogs are barking. That's Amazon. That's going to be my delivery. Yeah, no, I don't really know what else to say. It's just, it's a strange feeling, and it still feels weird to call myself an atheist. Like, I hear that term, and even saying it just now, it's like I didn't even associate it with myself. You know, like, it didn't even, like, that word just doesn't feel right, but it's very blatantly what I am. This isn't a case for, like, oh, you don't have to use a label you don't want. This is a word with a definition, and it's what I am. Yeah. Yeah, it's really, really strange. It feels weird, but then at the same time, it also feels weird saying I'm a Christian because I'm not. Like, that feels even farther gone from myself than atheist, but it still feels extremely weird calling myself an atheist. I don't know. Yeah, no, this is just, that's just how I feel. Of course, this video could have been like 45 minutes long. I mean, it really could have been like 4 hours long, but I just wanted to give the summary of the story. Yeah. It's just really weird, I guess, is all I'm trying to say. I've been repeating myself for the past like 5 minutes, but it is weird. It's super strange to think about and to, you know, kind of break away from all of these traditions and values that my whole life has been centered around for 17 and a half years. Yeah, that's about all. If you like listening to me yap, then you can subscribe, because that would make me happy. And if you don't like listening to me yap, don't, because there's no point in doing that. I want the people who care to be here, not people who don't care. But yeah, that's about it. That's about it. Actually, I do want to say, at the very end of this one, if any Christians are going to watch this, please don't be annoying. I know, like, I'm not trying to generalize, but, you know, it is kind of a common thing for, Christians to go out of their way to do anything they can to try to, you know, convert people or try to convince people back who are trying to leave and all that sort of stuff. Please don't be annoying. I have thought about this way more than you can even consider me have thoughting about it. You know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, no. One comment and argument / discussion with you is not going to change my mind. So, just don't waste your breath. Don't be annoying. just leave it. But yeah, that's all I have to say. Goodbye. I'll probably do another one later today that's on a much happier topic because it's been on my mind. Yeah, that's all. Goodbye.